Alien Earth, the upcoming series from the FX network, has a new teaser trailer which premiered Sunday night. It's a 30-second spot depicting a ship crashing toward Earth, and of course, aboard this ship, there is an alien creature let loose. Or perhaps several. It's shown partially from the point of view of the creature as it scales through the corridors of the ship, and we hear familiar sounds from the world of Alien. Specifically, the eerie howl that we've been hearing since the 1979 film's teaser. There's also a computerized voice sounding off that a containment breach has taken place. We don't really get a good clear look at the creature. Initially I assumed it was a facehugger, but in taking some closer looks it seems to be something different. I'm actually not too sure what to make of it myself. I've seen some reactions over social media theorizing it could be a flying alien of some kind, I guess due to all of the fluttering at the opening of the trailer. It's hard to tell for sure, since very intentionally we don't get a good look at this thing. I've even heard a theory that it could actually be the Deacon, as seen in the ending of Prometheus. We never did see what happened to it, did we? And don't know where it could possibly have gone to, so I guess anything is on the table with this upcoming series. This brief teaser really just shows us the concept that we already have come to know from a previously released synopsis. An alien ship has crashed to Earth, and it's filled with monsters. In tying it back to the Ridley Scott prequel films, I've always had the sneaking suspicion that the ship could have ended up being the Covenant, but based on that teaser, maybe not. The crashing ship here is much smaller than the Covenant, and it just doesn't look too similar at all. Even if it were possible that maybe it was a portion of the Covenant, which could kind of make sense and almost matches up, I'm starting to question this theory. As much as I'd like to see it tie in neatly to the Scott prequels, of course. As much as I'd absolutely love to see them somehow work David into the series. Michael Fassbender actually expressed in a very recent interview that he was very much open to returning to the world of Ridley Scott's Alien. Scott, of course, is in a producer role of Alien Earth, so this wouldn't necessarily be off the table either. For the sake of avoiding starting any baseless rumors, though, Fassbender didn't make any comments that would lead one to believe something like that was happening, in the works, or even being talked about. In the interview, he was specifically asked about Alien, but really just gave a general answer about how he'd like to work with Ridley Scott again. Keeping that in mind, there are many fans who are very much interested in seeing some kind of closure to the David storyline. There still is opportunity for that. Alien Romulus made it clear that the events of Prometheus and Covenant are still very much part of this world, and Alien Earth could very well do the same. Though showrunner Noah Hawley has already downplayed the series' relation to Scott's prequel films. So either he was throwing fans off the trail, or Alien Earth simply isn't going to have any connection to those stories. No David, no Covenant, just something completely different. It's difficult to say exactly what's in store because we haven't seen too much footage from the actual series, which is still a few months away. Literally just a few seconds worth of clips, and the rest has been originally created teaser trailers. I like them, I think they're just fine. In fact, I think it's a lost art to produce teaser trailers that are purely their own works and don't actually contain footage from the final, quote, product. I do like that kind of stuff, and I like what we've got so far with Alien Earth. Sooner or later, though, I think we need to see some actual footage of the series if they want to whet the appetites of the fans any further. I'm personally at a point where I'm definitely interested in what may be in store. I'm curious to see it, no doubt, but am I excited? I can't say I am. Mostly because I'm still a little iffy on the concept of this taking place on Earth during this specific time period. The previous teaser trailer confirmed the series takes place in the year 2120. This sets it timeline-wise right in between Alien Covenant and the original Alien. I'm just not sure how they can bring the aliens to Earth in a new story in a satisfying way. Obviously, they'd have to be contained in some way at the conclusion of this series, otherwise everybody would already know about the aliens when Ripley is warning that if just one of those things gets here, you can kiss this all goodbye 57 years after the fact. And if the aliens are contained, and I suppose eradicated before the events of the first Alien can take place, then what's even the point? Not just the fact that we've already seen how underwhelming this concept can be with the AVP films, where they do appear on Earth and are conveniently wiped out at the end of those respective stories, but don't you think the appeal in a story about the aliens reaching Earth would be in how much global devastation they could cause, bringing mankind to its knees, creating the exact same kind of chaos that Ripley was warning about? What would be the point if it all just takes place in some isolated facility somewhere on Earth? Who really cares? It may as well be on another planet if they're not going to open up Pandora's box and really let these things run loose. With all that in mind, I obviously don't know what Noah Hawley even has planned for the series' overall story. He has said in interviews that he has multiple seasons planned, so if it happens to be a very large, ambitious story, it could find itself spanning over throughout the entire timeline quite significantly. While Alien Earth is set in the year 2120, there's no reason why it couldn't or wouldn't move beyond that. Possibly the first season is to set up an origin of sorts, and as the larger story progresses, it could jump years and even decades into the future. There's no reason why they couldn't have a key character be an android for that very purpose, for example, to establish a point of view to this story. I think that could work, and it could even move past the events of Aliens, set in 2179 that way. I've aired my concerns about the timeline and the setting on Earth plenty of times before, and it probably won't be the last. But I'll always also say that if the story is good enough, then I'm willing to go along with it and give it a chance. I just don't know if there's any figure behind the scenes that's keeping the balances in check and making sure the continuity makes sense. I have to admit, the biggest hurdle the Alien franchise has right now is the existence of Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection. We've had follow-ups to those stories in the extended universe, though very few, and there's a clear enough hesitation to work with them in the world of film and now TV. I think 20th Century Studios still wants to keep the door open to axe Alien 3 and Resurrection from continuity. We very nearly got something like that with Neil Blomkamp's film Alien 5, which saw the Ripley character returning, and that was something Sigourney Weaver was very much interested in doing. Unfortunately, Blomkamp's film was cancelled very close to when production would have begun. There was another version of Alien 5 also bringing back Ripley and apparently leaving out Alien 3 and Resurrection in a treatment written by David Giler and Walter Hill. Sigourney Weaver was less enthusiastic about that one, and nothing much happened of it. All this recent talk, and I should stress rumors, about a de-aged Ripley returning for a Romulus follow-up I think reignited those desires for a Ripley return. Fede Alvarez has denied that he intends to do such a thing, but the rumor has actually since changed, and we're now meant to believe that this could be a separate project altogether, so who knows. But I think eventually someone, somewhere, whoever we can call the powers that be when it comes to Alien, has to put their foot down on the Ripley aspect of the story. I personally love Alien 3, I'm okay with Alien Resurrection, and if their continuity is altered, then I can accept it for the greater good. If the stories being told can finally say these two movies are canon and move forward from Alien Resurrection's story, then I think that would be equally freeing. But they can't go on being lukewarm about it much longer. How many more times are we going to have stories orbiting around the first two films until it just gets absolutely absurd? Some may say it's at that point already. I say either pave a new course from Aliens or even Alien 3 onward, or follow up from Alien Resurrection. We've had just about enough of the prequels and the midquels, so I think it's time to move forward. If this new FX series makes the bold move of telling this grander story over the course of decades, maybe we could finally break some new ground. I'd like to see that. For now, though, we just have some teasers. We don't really know. We know the series is coming, and hopefully it's good regardless. I'll certainly be staying tuned for further updates, and I hope you'll follow along with me on the channel. As always, I'd like to thank you very much for watching today, and until next time, this is Alien Theory, signing off.